Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today I figured we kind of had to talk about Gardevoir EX and Miraidon EX post-rotation. So today I have 7 deck lists pulled up that won events in Japan, which is within the post-rotation format we will be entering in around a week, and I'm really excited for this. And not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of Miraidon and Gardevoir as decks. I think they're cool Pokemon, but I don't play the decks too much, but they are getting different post rotation. Normally, a lot of decks get worse, and that is true of these decks. But in this rotation, it's kind of unusual, and a lot of decks are getting better. But with Miraidon, it's losing Flaffy, and that's really bad for it. And with Gardevoir, it's losing a lot of things. It's losing the single prize Gardevoir. It is losing Zacian VE. It's losing. I forget. I don't play the deck that much, but it's losing a lot of cards. So today we're going to be looking at Gardevoir EX and Miraidon EX. I think Gardevoir EX will definitely be a very playable deck post rotation, and Miraidon will be playable but not necessarily super good. I'll say each of them are falling down around one tier. If you think of like traditional tiers where Gardevoir, if there's like tier S, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, or tier S, tier A, tier B, I'd say Gardevoir is probably an A tier, and then post rotation is dropping down to B. And then Miraidon is currently like a B tier deck, dropping down to C, but again, it's still playable. Anything that's probably C. I mean, C isn't necessarily something you want to take if you want to play like competitively, but if you're just playing normally, C is certainly is like viable and something you can definitely win a lot of games with. And then B and up are like certainly competitively viable decks. A is looking at like, oh, it's like really good, and S is I don't know. Different people have different interpretations of S, but S is like the best. So anyway, Gardevoir is not going to be the best post rotation, but it is having some. It is maintaining the two most important cards, which are Gardevoir EX, its ability Psychic Embrace lets you just shove as much energy as you want on your Psychic Pokemon from your discard pile. So that's kind of broken. And then you have Curlia, which is a really great draw engine, letting you discard a card from your hand to draw two, and you can have a bunch of different Curlias and draw a lot of cards. We are losing the other Curlia, but that's not a huge deal. Glade now is a bigger important piece in the deck, though. Swirling Slice for Psychic Colorless, letting you move energy from this Pokemon to on your bench and hitting 160. 160 is a decent chunk, especially on a single prizer. And then Buddy Catch, once during your turn, you can search your deck for a supporter and pop into your hand. That's really nice, giving you access to a variety of supporters. And so we even see disruption supporters like Airy. We actually have 7 lists today that we're going to be looking at. And as I said, these all won events. I think they're all different. I actually don't know if that's true. I think so. Anyways, so we do see actually some lists playing the other Gardevoir. This can hit 120 for 2, and it also has Refinement. The same ability as Curlia, but you can actually use Curly's Refinement, evolve it into Gardevoir, and use that Refinement. In terms of some different changes to the deck, it is running Buddy Poffin, searching for basics with 70 HP or less and putting them onto your bench, which is pretty much all your basics outside the Luminion V. And Reading Greninja, I think. I'm going to look through the decks. There is this Flutter Mane, and I guess there's Screamtail as well. There are some Pokemon you can't get, but you can get most of them with the Buddy Poffin. On top of that, you can also grab um, you can grab them not turn one. So it's essentially better than Battle VIP Pass, which is a really great upgrade to this deck. Because Battle VIP Pass was playing Gardevoir quite commonly, but honestly wasn't super good. You just discard it most of the time. We do see Arvin as well as a main supporter, as well as a really powerful supporter in Iono, and those are the main ones. We do see Research Boss and a few others. We do see Mortis, what is this, Mortis Confidence or something. I don't remember if that's the right translation or not. And then we see Professor Toad's Scenario as well, letting you scoop up a Pokemon and play into your hand. This is also very important against Control. And Control is a pretty good, honestly, Snorlax Control is one of the best decks post-rotation. It's, in my opinion, top 5, I think. I don't know, I did a ranking, and um, it's very close, right? It's certainly, it's top 5, maybe top 3, I could see. But I think you have to say at the very least it's top 10. Then we also we see some interesting supporters, Irida as well. We do see Airy as well, which is a disruptive supporter. Cryptomaniacs, no, what's this? Cryptomaniacs code breaking? Code breakers cryptography? I don't remember, but it lets you search your deck for 2 cards, shuffle them, you shuffle your deck and put those 2 cards on top, allowing you to just immediately draw them with Curlia, so that's pretty nice. And we do see Counter Catcher, we see Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, I see Heavy Ball. Sometimes we see Great Ball, we see Damage Pump for healing, Bravery Charm, Luxurious Cape, Team Evolution, Lost Vacuum, Earthen Vessel. There are a lot of items, but these were sometimes played before. And so you just chuck in whatever items you personally want. It doesn't matter too much, or trainers in general. Some are new, a lot aren't new, but this is how the decks look in the past. This list only runs one rare candy, and a lot don't run. Oh no, it looks like they run 1 to 2. So that's kind of normal. Generally, they'd sometimes run more, but it's still certainly fine and very stretchable with Arvin. Aside from that, we do also see the tool of choice is going to be a Giant Cape, giving you 100 more HP. This list runs Master Ball, but the rest all run Giant Cape. No, sorry, Hero's Cape. Hero's Cape lets you, it gives you 100 more HP, which is really great on the attackers, which we'll talk about, because Gardevoir EX, when it powers Pokemon up, it damages them. And obviously, well, one, it doesn't let you knock out your own Pokemon, and so that's like, you can't get a ton of energy. So let's talk about the attackers. I mentioned Gallade. There also is this Gardevoir as well. Um, and then we do have a bunch of other attackers. Obviously, we do have, in terms of support, Lumineon, Vivi, Nico Ninja, Manaphy, and potentially Jirachi. But, that is what it is. Again, played pure rotation. In terms of attackers, though, I think we have 4 or 5. We have Drifloon. We have Screamtail. We have Mimikyu. We have Fluttermane, and do we have one more? I mentioned Gardevoir and Gallade. That might be it. Yeah, it looks like that's it. So these 4 are all really good, though. Your main attacker will be Drifloon, most likely. It does 30 for each damage counter on this Pokemon for 2 psychic, but the energy cost doesn't really matter. The idea is you can accelerate 6 energy, or sorry, 6 damage counters, 3 energy. You have 6 damage counters on you, you're hitting 180. If you put on Bravery Charm, now you have 120 HP. You can put 10 damage counters on you within normal circumstances. Also, you can heal yourself with Moonlit Hill, which some lists play, but not super commonly, or Damage Pump. But if you do, you can get 11 damage counters on you. If you get 10, you're hitting 300. 11, you're hitting 330, which is obviously more than 300 and enough to one-shot Charizard. Right now, it's not played super commonly in Gardevoir, but post-rotation, it'll be really good. There also is Drifblim, which it evolves into. And it doesn't matter what Drifloon's attack is too much, but you can use Relicanth, which will let you copy Drifloon's attack with Drifloon, and then you have more HP, so you can hit more damage, although I think it's not um, that much HP. It is, yeah, just 110, so it's okay, but probably not something you want to play. Next up, we have Screamtail. Does 20 for each damage count on this Pokemon. It has more HP, and you can use Ancient Boost Energy Capsule, so that's nice, but you're going to be hitting less, but it can snipe the bench as well. So this is pretty nice for sniping. It's a very good Pokemon, and Drifloon and Screamtail are definitely your 2 main attackers. In general, Screamtail's a little more specific as it hits less, but it does have more HP, which can be nice. And then, of course, very importantly, it can snipe. That can be really important, specifically disrupting your opponent's setup, as the other 2 attackers are very disruptive. And so the more things you can mess with, the better. That's why we see Airy to disrupt their hand. We see Luxurious Cape or Hero's Cape to allow you to put more damage on, but also to kind of like disrupt. And we saw, I think, TM Devolution. In a list here, we see there was another Pokemon League HQ or headquarters, Calamitous Wasteland as well in this list, and lots of different disruption cards. So most Gardevoir lists are running a few disruption cards outside of attackers. In terms of attackers, you have Mimikyu, which is completely immune to Pokemon EX and Pokemon V in terms of damage from attacks. This is absolutely insane. Then you do 70 in the form of damage counters. This will be stopped by Mist Energy, which is coming out in the next set, which is a little annoying, but not huge. And so this is pretty nice, allowing you to just threaten your opponent's Pokemon due to the fact that they just can't really damage you in a lot of situations, or will need to pivot to attackers that aren't usually their traditional attackers, something like Baxcalibur in a Chen Pao deck. In a Charizard EX deck, it could be a Charmeleon, which is very good against Mimikyu, but these attackers, well, they can beat Mimikyu, they can't really beat anything else. So then you switch up between Mimikyu and Screamtail and Drifloon and whatever. I guess they can probably KO Screamtail and Drifloon because they have low HP, but you can KO them back, and they probably only play a few copies of those niche attackers and aren't really great for setting them up, so you can go in with Mimikyu and disrupt them. Lastly, we have Fluttermane, a new attacker. Fluttering in the night, its ability, I don't know if that's correct, the official translation, but what it does do is as long as it's in the active, your opponent's active has no abilities, and your attack, your strike and throw does 90 for 3 colors to your opponent's active and 20 on their bench in the form of damage counters in any way you like. So this will be stopped by Jirachi, not Manaphy, but obviously it's not a ton of spread, and the active damage is pretty decent. It's more than Mimikyu. So Flutter Mane it's pretty good. It can be really disruptive as well. As I said, if your opponent's going in with that Excalibur, you might create really awkward scenarios for them there. Aside from that, it's a little weird, it's a little niche, but it can be really powerful. Also, it is ancient, so you do have that like those ancient cards in Flutter Mane and Screamtail. Um, you can play Raging Bolt and in Gardevoir, and that is like a deck. It's not a super great deck. It's kind of inconsistent, but if you were playing that, Flutter Mane's a nice little addition in there. That's all for Gardevoir, though. It's not changing too much. Next up, we are going on to the Miraidon deck, I guess, and this is now going back to Regieleki VMAX. Regieleki VMAX is a stage 1, or it's a VMAX, which functions as a stage 1, but it gives up 3 prizes. Ability Transistor, your basic lightning Pokemon's attacks do 30 more to your opponent's active, and you have Max Thunder and Lightning to hit 220. Also, Regieleki V has an attack that does 100 for lightning colors, and takes 100 less next turn. There are some funny combos with Regieleki V Max, but for now, the main point of the deck is that you just want to power up Miraidon, and you have Zeraora as well, Raichu V potentially, but then Raikou V as well, Iron Hands EX in addition to that. And you power up a few of these, and then from there you go ahead and just hit big damage and take lots of prizes. Pretty straightforward, very simple, very powerful when it's set up. Electric Generator is still here, so you can go turbo. There is no Peony, but that's not a huge deal. You have Squawkabilly, Mew EX as well to help you, and there is no path to the peak, which is actually really nice for this deck, as you cannot be shut down by that really dangerous stadium. Gardevoir also does get shut down by Path, but it's nowhere near as bad, so it's not a huge deal versus Regieleki. Okay, Gardevoir does not like Path, but it's not like your engine isn't relying on Path in that deck. This deck, the big issue is no Flappy, meaning if the game goes long, which it certainly will go, you're hoping it goes like 3 turns long. It's probably going to go longer than that. And then you're probably going to run out of attackers. So you do need Electric Generator, then EXP Share as well to conserve energy, or even Heavy Baton. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is your active, has your 2 cost of exactly 4, and is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, move up to 3 basic energy from that Pokemon to your bench in any way you like, which is really useful. Keep in mind, if you play Beach Court, don't play Beach Court, because that will reduce Iron Hands EX's retreat from 4 to 3. And this is only good on Iron Hands EX as well. If it gets lost vacuumed, then that's not great. In terms of Ace Max, we see Prime Catcher in this one, Maximum Belt in this one. So this Maximum Belt lets you do more damage. Prime Catcher is a gusting effect. Aside from that, we see Bravery Charm, which is pretty common. Force Seal Stone as well, a part of your engine. I guess didn't really mention that. Pretty normal Ride-on stuff without Flaffy. Flaffy is a massive loss for this deck, but it still can definitely compete because you do have just Miraidon's a good Pokemon. Regieleki VMAX and V are both good, and Iron Hands is good. Raikou V is good. Raichu V is good, and Zeraora is fine. Squawkabilly EX is good. Mew EX is good. So you have all these options that are really powerful. Obviously, they're not all like attackers, but you can hit really good damage. You can go fast as well. The big issue is if you miss on your electric generators, we see a 13 energy in this list, 14 energy in this list in terms of lightning energy. And so you can definitely miss. We do see a super rod here. In this other list, we don't see any super rod. Additionally, the deck is a little bit vulnerable to being boss trapped as it doesn't run a ton of switch. It runs this one, and this one runs 2. In terms of boss trapping with like Snorlax or Mawile, so that's a bit awkward, but you do have some boss. Anyway, overall, I think the deck, it's not my favorite deck, but it's a very fast and very powerful deck, and you can play it if you like the turbo aspect, and you can play it. I would recommend Roaring Moon EX over, but Roaring Moon EX isn't even a great deck post-rotation if we look at the decks. No, if you look at the tournaments, then we go here. It's a little awkward to see all the tournaments, but here we go. If you look at Roaring Moon EX, a lot of people are playing the single prize Roaring Moon. But some people are playing the EX, it is still certainly a decent deck that can hit pretty good damage. And I don't know what all these decks are. I think they're not EX. Yeah, some are mixed and matching the EX and single prizer as well. So if you want to play a turbo deck, I'd probably recommend Roaring Moon EX, but you can certainly play Miraidon. It's not a terrible deck. So in Gardevoir, again, Gardevoir will be very playable. It's not bad. It's not great, but you do have the new Fluttermane, and you do have Drifloon, Screamtail, and Mimikyu to pick up the slack that Zacian V, and more importantly, the single prize Gardevoir have left you with. And Buddy Buddy Poffin is a great addition to the deck as well, as it's almost directly better than Battle VIP Pass in most scenarios. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, and all that good stuff. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video. And also, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below.